Summative assessment usually takes place after students have completed units of work or modules at the end of each term and/or year. The information it gives indicates progress and achievement usually in grade-related or numerical terms. This information can then be provided to parents or used for certification as part of a formal examination course. Summative assessment gives students, parents, and teachers valuable information about a student's overall performance at a specific point in their learning. It provides information about their progress in subject knowledge, understanding, and skills and capabilities. However, without additional information, this grade is of little value in improving the student's learning and will remain only a record of a point in time. The key to improving learning is for teachers to share with students what these grades or numbers mean. Therefore, to be genuinely worthwhile, it is helpful to students. Summative assessments are also interpreted formatively before moving on. Effective planning is the key to successful teaching. Co-planning is one way to organize preparing for summatives. The two documents that are absolutely essential for planning summative tests are the course plan and test specification, where the sample summative tasks, their description, and assessment rubrics or descriptors are provided. The type of formative assessments practiced throughout the term must be similar to those students will find in their summative assessment tests. Plus, after giving proper feedback based on the rubrics or descriptors taken from the task specification, will help students become familiar with them before the actual summative test. This way, any misunderstanding will be avoided. So, how does it really happen? It is necessary to provide students with proper instructions on how to behave, academic honesty, and organize the appropriate sitting arrangement so that students can work independently. Summative speaking usually takes place before the test. To know the frame, you should always refer to the test specification, where you can find all the necessary instructions and description of every task after each unit or term. There are sample tasks in these documents based on which you can find the ones to use in your classroom. One way to go about summative speaking is to swap groups with your colleagues so the students get used to different examiners and make sure there is no chance for someone to be biased in terms of assessment.
Hello students. Hello. You are here to take your summative speaking exam. You will have 1 minute to prepare your dialogue and 2-3 minutes for speaking.
Hello, Renata. Hello, me. Now I want to ask you some questions.
Yes, of course.
What is your favorite style?
I think my favorite style is casual because it's more comfortable and I like the style. For example, t-shirts, shirts, and so on clothes.
Okay. Also, where do you usually buy your clothes?
I usually buy clothes, for example, LC Waikiki, and so on shops.
Why?
Because I love these shops and in these shops I buy casual style clothes.
A little more about summative assessment for the term. When students have taken their exams, teachers should begin the process of moderation and exchange a couple of works with each other to make sure no mistakes in checking were made and the scores are correct. The next step is to fill out a form with the results of moderation at the end of every term. It's not a great secret of teaching that students learn best when they receive very specific feedback about what they need to do to improve. Giving feedback to students is an essential part of managing your classroom. Feedback promotes growth and skills mastery among your students, can also inspire confidence and instill a greater sense of satisfaction in students. If asked, most people will admit the great feedback on their performance. Summative assessment does not require giving detailed individual feedback as opposed to formative assessment though. However, every activity needs closure. Taking a summative test is not an exception. The best way here is to analyze the most common mistakes of all students and comment on them after the test. You can also provide your students with a list of those and create some tasks to practice the structures your students might be still struggling with. You can also feedback your students informally in a form of discussion. A small warming up activity on the challenging structures at the beginning of your lessons can really help students to overcome those difficulties. Practice makes perfect.